Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new video on the Traxion channel. Assetto Corsa Competizione has a brilliant range of cars to choose from if you're looking to enjoy some high quality GT racing. One area in particular where the sim excels is the attention to detail within each of these cars. They don't just look different and sound different, they all have their own unique quirks and characteristics which makes every single driving experience unique. This gives us a fairly realistic idea of what real GT racing is like, with some cars being better suited to specific types of circuits than others and vice versa. In this video, we want to help you understand which GT3 cars work best at each circuit within the game, providing you with a go-to guide that might make the selection process a little bit easier. Firstly, I'm going to cover the basics and general points worth noting about each car's characteristics, then we will go through each circuit individually in alphabetical order. In this video, we will cover the tracks from Barcelona to Monza, so from Mount Panorama to Zolder, keep an eye out for part 2. So first of all, I want to cover the basics with you all to give you some context. There are certain attributes that a car needs to be strong at specific areas. These can be things like straight line performance, traction, low speed corner ability, high speed corner ability, braking performance, etc, etc. Let's take cornering ability first. To state the obvious, tracks with more corners and less straights will of course suit cars that corner well. If you're looking for speed in this particular area, a good example is the Porsche. This car tends to suit the twisty circuits with high levels of grip and superb traction out of slow corners due to all the weight being at the back, but it's also difficult to drive. The Audi and the Ferrari are probably the next best examples, and are both easier to manage, so those three tend to be popular choices around the likes of Hungary, Barcelona and Zandvoort. Next we have the opposite end of the scale, cars that are stronger in terms of straight line performance. Here, the Porsche struggles and some of the bigger, heavier cars excel. The BMW is a monster in this aspect, as is the Mercedes and the older V12 Aston Martin. These are good choices for the likes of Monza and Spa with big long straights. We then have what I would describe as the compromise category. These cars tend not to excel in one particular area, but are well balanced and will be decent bets at most circuits, fast or slow. The Bentley, the newer V8 Aston and the Nissan GT-R would probably all fall into this category. You also have little individual quirks that certain cars have which can really help. The Lexus is really good in the rain, for example, whilst the Mercedes rides the curbs better than anything else. The final thing I need to talk about before moving on to my specific circuit recommendations is an important one. It's something called BOP, which for those of you who don't know stands for Balance of Performance. You can learn more about this in our Racing Terms Explained video. This is a method used throughout GT racing aimed at keeping the competition as close as possible. Certain cars are given additional weight to carry if they're too fast at specific circuits, meaning that it's not always just about how fast you can expect a certain car to be. BOP is integrated within Assetto Corsa Competizione and is adjusted with every update. What this means is that I can't definitively tell you which car is going to be the quickest at each circuit, as this is constantly changing and depends on variable factors such as setups and driving styles. I guess that's kind of one of the best things about ACC. Things are constantly changing like they would in real life GT racing, and you have to adapt. What I can do though with this guide is tell you which car's characteristics suit each circuit, and therefore which cars will most likely be competitive or suitable at any given moment. Hopefully this has helped lay the foundations for you. Now I'm going to go through each circuit individually, starting with Barcelona. Barcelona is a twisty and technical circuit, with sections flowing from corner to corner without many long straights. You need a car that changes direction well and is strong through both low speed and high speed corners. The two cars I would put forward as my strongest picks would be the Porsche and the Audi. They are always strong performers at circuits such as this one, the Porsche probably edging it as the most suitable, but the Audi a good choice for those of you who don't like the Porsche. My alternative choices worth trying are the new Ferrari 488 Evo and the Aston Martin. Both of these provide a nice compromise and should be capable of challenging right at the top. My car to avoid for this one is the BMW M6. You need good brakes and nimble direction changes around here, two areas at which the BMW lacks ability. Next up we have Brands Hatch. Another track with flowing corners, this one is slightly more about balance and high speed cornering ability. This time I would consider going with the McLaren 720S for its stability and grip through the high speed corners. I'd probably recommend trying the Ferrari as a second choice. Both can be a bit tricky to drive, but their mid-corner ability pushes them just ahead of the rest. My alternative choices would be the Aston Martin V8 Vantage and the Bentley Continental. The Bentley used to be weaker around here, but a recent BOP update has brought it into contention, although as I've mentioned this can literally change at any time. The Aston is another very solid compromise and should be strong enough around Brands to put you in the hunt. My car to avoid on this occasion is the Honda NSX. It tends to be a tricky car to drive at a circuit with plenty of mid-speed corners and direction changes, and Brands doesn't play to its strengths either. The NSX hasn't been super competitive for a while in all honesty. Of course this might change with balance and performance adjustments in the future, but there are plenty of other options that should be ahead of it for this circuit. Donington Park hasn't been in the game for long, but it seems like the GT3 pack are well balanced on first glance. The two cars which I would recommend trying for different reasons are the McLaren 720S and the new Mercedes-AMG Evo. The McLaren suits the flow of the circuit incredibly well, whilst the Mercedes can be ultra forgiving and allow you to make the most of the more stop-start areas of the circuit. On this occasion, if I had to pick something, I'd probably say avoid the BMW, but since this track is so new, I wouldn't rule out any car straight away. For me at least, it doesn't seem to play to the Beamer's strengths, but with the right setup, maybe someone can prove me wrong. Moving on now to the Hungaroring. This is probably the most extreme circuit in terms of corners versus straights, and again it's all about the flow. This used to be an easy one, with the Porsche dominating the lap times for a while, but the newest additions to the GT3 roster have threatened this. The Mercedes-AMG Evo and the Ferrari 488 Evo are both well suited to the track, but for different reasons. The Merc handles the curves like a dream, and the Ferrari can keep tabs on the Porsche through the corners. Similarly to Barcelona, the BMW doesn't suit the direction changes of the Hungaroring, so it's probably worth avoiding. Now we have Imola. This is one of the newest circuits on the game, so expect this one to change a bit more than the others with regards to balance and performance. This track does have a few straights, but also has a lot of direction changes and curbs. For that reason, my two picks would be the Mercedes and the McLaren. One rides the curbs well, the other one loves the other bits. It's really as simple as that. Other decent choices include the Lamborghini and the Lexus, which both are capable of competitive lap times. If I had to pick one to avoid, I would say the Bentley isn't best suited to Imola. There are quite a few traction zones and heavy acceleration points, two areas where the Bentley struggles relative to its rivals. Next up is Kyalami. This is a wide and open circuit with lots of off-camber corners and a dynamic range of high and low speed sections. You need a car that's a strong compromise, and on this occasion I'd recommend trying the Lamborghini or the Audi R8. The Audi works really well in the off-camber corners and in general allows you to carry lots of speed. The Lamborghini isn't hugely different in this sense, it's direct in its handling and a strong compromise for a track of this nature. My next picks would be the Porsche and the Honda NSX. Of course we all know why the Porsche is strong, but it loses out slightly in the wider open sections and the big straights. That being said, it's still more than capable of winning. The Honda excels in the brakes and its punch out of corners, which suits the characteristics of Kyalami. The Nissan GT-R was at one stage a strong pick for this circuit, but currently struggles for outright pace, whilst the McLaren isn't the best either relative to its competitors. Laguna Seca is a strange one. Unlike Kyalami, it's narrow and there really aren't too many opportunities to stretch your legs. For me, there are two cars that I'd recommend if you want to be as competitive as possible around here. One won't come as a surprise. The Porsche loves the traction zones and low to mid-speed corners, so it is of course a strong pick. However, my other pick, which is equally as strong, isn't a car that should suit this place on paper, and that's the BMW M6. For some reason, everything clicks into place for this car around here. Maybe it's just the bop, or maybe it's the nature of the handling, but the car stays balanced through the corners and can open up overtaking opportunities into turn 1 and the corkscrew with its straight line performance. Other alternative options include the Nissan, which feels beautifully balanced for the whole lap, and the Lamborghini is also a strong contender, not for the first time in this video. In terms of what to avoid, on this occasion it's the McLaren. It just doesn't have the pace or attributes around here to make it a worthwhile choice if you're trying to maximise your results. Moving back to Europe, now let's cover Misano. It's a tricky one to describe in terms of its character, but has more slow speed corners than fast. You need good acceleration, direction changes and balance over the curbs. My two picks for here would be the new Ferrari and the new Mercedes, but on this occasion there really isn't too much in it compared to the midfield. The Ferrari works well as an all-rounder, whilst the Mercedes benefits from its punchy engine and ability to ride the curbs well. To be honest, there are many cars that can also be competitive around here, these being the Lamborghini, Porsche and Bentley to name a few. It's actually very hard to think of a car that's fundamental characteristics don't suit this place. Unfortunately, two of the cars that used to be strong picks here have recently taken a bit of a hit when it comes to balance of performance, these being the Nissan GT-R and the Audi. Maybe when you're watching this video things have changed again, but as it stands at the moment these two cars won't put you right at the front of the grid. However, it's not down to their characteristics. Honestly, they both feel okay, it's just the speed that's missing. Our final track for this video is Monza. For me, this one is fairly easy. The Mercedes' strengths are its ability to ride curbs, get out of slow corners, and its top speed. This is literally a description of what's needed at Monza, so to nobody's surprise, it's a front runner. The BMW can also be right at the front with its straight line capabilities as well. If you want an exciting left field choice, the older V12 Aston Martin needs a mention. It's an absolute rocket ship in a straight line, but can't really go around the corners. A race at Monza, however, is one of the few situations on ACC where that compromise works. I haven't mentioned the Lexus much in this video, and that's because it's often a solid but unspectacular choice. It's a good car around here though, so well worth a try. The car to avoid might well be the newer V8 Aston Martin. It's a balanced car, but Monza isn't a circuit that plays to its strengths. So that concludes the first part of our Assetto Corsa Competizione GT3 selection guide. Hopefully you found this helpful, and make sure you check out part 2 when it's available. Also, if you want some detailed analysis as to how to get the most out of these cars on each particular circuit, check out our ACC track guide series. Do you agree with my picks? Or have you found a surprise winning combination that I've overlooked? Let us know in the comments down below. Until next time, keep it pinned, thanks for watching, and have a great day.